Let us prepare for our invocation. If you'll close your eyes and become still and quiet and go within. Divine Creator, with whom we are one, we invoke your presence in today's service. We acknowledge that your divine presence is flowing in each and every one of us. We know that we are divine expression of love. And so we are open at the top to receive today's message. We know that we will be blessed by it, inspired by it, and uplifted by it. That our divine consciousness will be even more expanded. We know that the words that will be spoken here in today's message are done so with love. I bless and give thanks for everyone present today in the sanctuary, on Zoom, on the phone. And I bless and give thanks for all of the participants in today's service. I now decree this service to be in divine order. And if you are in agreement with me, please join me in saying, and so it is, amen. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to Miracle Center for Spiritual Living. We are located at 2653 South Taylor Boulevard, Cleveland Heights, Ohio. My name is Linda Jones, and I am your pulpit assistant for today. I greet you in love, peace, and harmony. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And now turning to our bulletin, our monthly theme is Love Out Loud. The weekly topic, Love Thy Neighbor. And the affirmation for today reads as, I see everything, being as a divine expression of love. Let me repeat that. I see everything being as a divine expression of love. And let's just say that together. I see everything being as a divine expression of love. Thank you. And now we have a song, Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Thank you, Chris, for playing that for us. Our monthly theme summary in Science of Mind, we often say that the word God is synonymous with love. Because God is all there is, love must be all there is. But in a world filled with war, violence, and division, it's challenging to see God or love behind the darkness. This month, we are invited to lean into love and express love out loud. Let's look for love in every place we go, in the people we interact with, the events of the world, and most of all, within ourselves. If we want to see love in the world, we must be willing to live as an example of love in action. Today's topic, peace in the world starts with us. To truly create a world that works best for everyone, we must ensure everyone's voice is included. We must make space in our lives, in our communities, for people who think differently than we do. When we surround ourselves with people of all ages, races, sexual orientations, political affiliations, spiritual beliefs, cultural backgrounds, and life experiences, we expand our understanding of love, living by example and loving each other, regardless of our differences. It is a beautiful way to create a peaceful world that works for all. Science of Mind point of view. Science of Mind points out that everything that happens to us happens for us. Any experience or perceived betrayal is love in action, inspiring us to shift. Ernest Holmes wrote, "A constant realization of the presence of spirit will provide a sense of divine companionship that no other attitude could produce. The presence of the divine is always with us. When we live consciously and know that everyone around us is a divine expression of the one, we can appreciate the spiritual life we are experiencing every day." And so it is. And now I bring to you Reverend June Clark with our message, Love Thy Neighbor. Let's give her a hand.
Good morning. Thank you, Linda. Thank you. Well, Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. So simple. The words in that song are just so beautiful. Well, it's the day after. And it's the day of. We have quite a weekend this weekend. We had quite a weekend starting yesterday with our wonderful fashion show. Those of you out in Zoom land and far away, it was extremely, extremely, extremely successful because it was full of love and it was just awesome and beautiful. So I want to thank those of us that are here within the sound of my voice, those who are at home recuperating, those who are on Zoom, and anyone that contributed in any way to the success and the beauty of yesterday. I just say thank you on behalf of the Board of Trustees and Miracle Center. We're just awesome. I tell you, I won't cry. The heart came up. It came up, but we are awesome, and it was quite wonderful, and we'll be giving you more information on it after we, compile everything. So this morning, we're going to be focusing again on love, and it's interesting as the preparer of the message. It's like, well, what else can I say? I've said this, I've quoted that, but love is so expansive and so phenomenal, and I guess we could just talk for eons and into whatever about love, because that's what it is. It is ever unfolding. It is what we are. It is our DNA. It is our just total existence, our total understanding. If you understand your life at all, and I would suggest to myself after I said that everybody does understand their life. But if you understand your life with, what shall I say, with compassion, with awareness, and with truth, and understand that there's a whole lot more to our life than what we actually have right this second. There's so much more to life than what we have already lived. And all of that is love. So we have loved and loved and loved and loved, and there's so much more love to give and to accept as our truth and to move into and beyond, I guess what I'd say. And I happened to sit down this morning and picked up the magazine, and I said, "Self, let's see what it says this morning." And Sometimes I don't do that right away in the beginning of the day. But this morning, the title caught my eye, and it says, I guess, "Nah."
Oh, no.
No, yeah, like, "Nah, it's good," or "I'm good." And I said, yeah. After having a Charlie horse from wearing heels that I haven't worn for years, and I have to tell on Laverne, when she came in, she said, "Reverend June, I had the worst pains in my legs last night." So between the two of us, we probably will never wear heels again to look spiffy for the fashion show. So when she comes up, don't tell her I told you. But I know she's in there listening. So this title, "Nah, I'm Good," and there's just a couple lines in here in this week's, and it's from a minister that retired, and he's now in Florida. And but I just want to read a couple, and he mentions here about his mother and where she had lived, and he thought about taking her back to her birthplace because she was 80 years old and she had never been back. And when he asked her about going back, it says, "After all, it had been some 80 plus years, and now was her chance." Nonchalantly, she said, "Nah, I'm good." And we are good, and we have to know that. And on the other hand, it's good to rehash, kind of go back in your memory. And it says here, Joseph Campbell may have both encouraged and challenged us. He said, "The old skin has to be shed away. The old skin has to be shed before the new one can come." And I do believe that's true. We may visit such ghost towns on occasion, places where we lived with obsessive worrying, walked the streets of overanalysis, or danced with self-criticism. So as I said, we look back and we look at ourselves with forward thinking, we look at ourselves with criticism, but it's all love, and it's all what we need to do in order to grow for ourselves. We cannot stay in our old skins. We cannot stay in our own thoughts. We cannot stay in our own old patterns. And if you don't believe it, and as some people don't believe in climate change, as some people don't believe in what's going on in the world, the things that have occurred recently, there's change going on all the time in every aspect of our life. So we're on love thy neighbor. And I believe there's an extra part to it, as thyself. As thyself. Neighbor, we think of, yeah, they live next door. My neighbors on this side and on this side, they've been there at least, we'll just say, both of them 3 years. When this side moved in, I put my card, I put one of our hangers about love, safety, peace for your house on their mailbox. I don't know who they are. It's been longer than 3 years, but I don't know who they are. The neighbors on this side, been there, I know, longer than 3 years. I don't know who they are. So that means I don't know them, and they don't know me. Used to be your neighbor was the one, when I was younger, that I was kind of afraid of to do anything in front of, because they knew my mother, they knew my father, and you know what? They kind of shared anything that I didn't do that was quite appropriate, the neighbor shared it with my mother. And my mother shared about the other kids to their mother. So that's the way the neighborhood used to be. But neighbor is still neighbor, regardless of whether we know their name or know their name. We still love them. And I guess it's just that simple. I was going to say something that was really not very nice, but I'll say it since I kind of went into it. I was going to say, even if they don't love me, but that's a terrible thing to say. We all love each other, and that's it. We all do, and we must. So moving on to the program here, think of the whole world as your friend, but you must also be the friend of the whole world. And the Science of Mind book here, our textbook on page 298, the second paragraph says, when we find we are without friends, the thing to do is at once to send our thought out to the whole world, send it full of love and affection. Know that this thought will meet the desires of some person who is wanting the same thing, and in some way the two will be drawn together. Think of the whole world as your friend, but you must also be the friend to the whole world. In this way, and with this simple practice, you will draw to you so many friends that the time will be too short to enjoy them all. Isn't that wonderful? Refuse to see the negative side of anyone. I will repeat that, June M. Stanford Clark. Refuse to let yourself see the negative side of anyone. If you need to repeat that, repeat it in your mind. Repeat it before we get critical. Repeat it before we put our nose up about anything. I think you got the point. Refuse to see the negative side of anyone. Refuse to let yourself misunderstand, or I think this is very, very important, this last part of it, or be misunderstood. The part about understanding others, what I do know is that we cannot always understand someone else because we do not know anything truly about what someone else gives to us or shows to us except that truth. It's what they choose to show. It's what they choose to give of themselves. So we can never truly understand someone else. But what you can do is not let yourself be understood. I told someone recently, and it's been said to me, and it was taught to me, and I don't always do it, is stand in your own power. Don't be misunderstood. It doesn't mean you have to slap somebody down. It doesn't mean that you have to raise your voice and be the only authority in the situation. But stand in your own power and do not be understood. And I'm trying to think very quickly who it was that someone on TV, and I won't say who they said it was from because I don't remember. And it was to appreciate yourself. That's what the one famous person said about what the other famous person said. Always appreciate yourself. And I think that is so important. Refuse to let yourself misunderstand or be misunderstood. Know that everyone wants you to have the best. Everyone wants you to have the best. Affirm this wherever you go, and you will find things just as you wish them to be. Because who's got the bottom line? Who's got the choice? Who's got the say-so? What's that? What other people think of me is none of my business, by Reverend. Thank you. I knew it'd come. Reverend Terry Cole Whitaker. The book is kind of dated now. It's been a few years ago, but that is exactly true. So back to our bulletin here. Without love, nothing can be accomplished. With love, all things are possible. And when we love, our prayers are answered and the gift of heaven is made. And that is from The Science of Mind on page 503. So all of these awarenesses about love that maybe you do think about a lot, maybe you don't. But one thing is for sure, that four-letter word, there's several that are used quite often in our society, but that's the top. Love, 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 love. You can't see it, you can't taste it, you can't buy it, but you can give it away, and you can have it in your heart. So without love, nothing is, I'm not even going to try and look that one up. Nothing is accomplished. You think you did something? God will let you know. If you think you're all that, in Reverend Liara's expression, in a bag of chips, just get too high hat about something that you think you did all by yourself. You know what I mean. I know you do. From Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 13:4. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. Wow. If our bodies were built to have these little ticker tapes that run across our brain and allow us to kind of just push a button to remember some things when we forget, that we know that love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. Wouldn't that be nice? Because, again, speaking for myself, I'd be pushing a button every once in a while just to remind myself of that. But it's okay. It's okay. We're here to learn. We're human. And we move forward in our expression of who we are, and we just increase our ability to know more, to think more, to give more, to accept more. And isn't that wonderful? It is the way life ought to be and the way life truly is. Godly love is patient. A little explanation of the Corinthians choice here. Godly love is patient and kind. It is not jealous, boastful, or proud. Paul explained to the Corinthians all the characteristics of the grace of godly love that need to be present for it to be love. In that verse, I don't think I had to explain it any further than what was said. It's like, when I say the meat and potatoes is the main course of the meal, it's like who we are. How do we not what we show necessarily. Maybe you might disagree with me. It's not what we show necessarily. It's not what we put out there with certain people. It's not the way we act when we go to a certain place. This is what we ought to be for ourselves. Again, appreciating who you are as an individual. Why be one way around some people and give some people all the smiles and all the soft language and all the confidence that that you think you have? Why give it to somebody else? Why? I say why because I'm not saying why don't you do it. I'm saying as a reminder for my human self, be aware that this is who I am, and be it and do it and give it away and love it and be loving doing it. I have to remind myself. If you do not, I say, glory to you. If you do not have to have reminders of what love truly is in your experience, in your life, I applaud you. I bless you. What I'm saying is, for me, sometime there are things that I forget, and I have them because God is all there is, Spirit, we are one, all of those words, all of those nice words. Don't be boastful, be confident. Don't be braggadocious, be loving, be proud. Be proud of who you are, how you are. It took X number of years for this person to grow up and be who I am. You know, I like me. I like me now. And I'm still practicing. So if you're not practicing anymore and you have some advice for us, let me know. And we'll have a panel of people up here, and we'll all share how wonderful we are. Wouldn't that be nice one Sunday, that we all just get up and say how wonderful we are? Well, anyway, it was a long day yesterday. I tarry, so let me move on. It is not sufficient to have one and not the other characteristics. I do believe that's true. I do believe that's true. You can't have love and not be free. You can't have love and not be proud. You can't have love and be have abundance. You can't have love and all those other characteristics and have, I will say, have health. Because when there is an issue that involves health within your own body, you must know that you are a divine expression of God. This morning we got John back. John had a little quirky thing happen. John's back this morning. Talked to Laverne this morning. Talked to myself this morning. Like I said, the leg thing. What do? Stay sitting down, stay laying down, stay, oh my goodness, I had this thing happen. Oh my goodness, oh my. No. We're divine examples, expressions of God. So it hurts. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't hurt. Things don't happen. But you got the love within yourself to do something about it. If you have to go to the hospital, if you've got to go and buy medicine, if you've got to rub it, if you've just got to stop and sit down or lay down for a half an hour, do that. Not on the job, of course, but take care of yourself. Have that love within yourself to not just push. Because I tell you, I can only speak for this leg that was pushing. I looked down and I said, ooh, something's somewhere it's not supposed to be in my leg. Okay, God, that's not my God perfect self. You know, it's so simple. All of this, all these words, they are words until, they are just words until you know that they are spirit, God, holiness, perfection, expressing through and as you. I mean, we could stand here all day. We could read through this whole entire book and many more and say, I didn't learn anything. What? I didn't get it. It's nothing until you have the wherewithal to know how spiritual and how wonderful you are and accept the things. What is it? I don't know it. I probably should not try and quote it, but there's something about the 12-step program that the mantra that they use, do you know it?
God grant me the serenity
God grant me the serenity
to
accept the things that I can, in essence, that I can change and almost, well, literally ignore the others. It's a beautiful prayer.
the wisdom
And the wisdom to know the difference. Oh my goodness, yes. That's what I'm talking about. Just know that you are God expressing every single second, breath, eyelash, eye opening and closing, hearing, everything, everything. It is not sufficient to have one and not the other characteristics. Corinthians 13:4-8. At the same time, his guidance was to be used so that Corinthians could see that they were not exhibiting godly love and what they needed to do so that this divine love could dwell in their hearts. That's what I've been a little uncomfortably saying, and thank you for those that assisted me in that prayer. It is so, so, so important to just take time to know who you are so that when something comes up, that, as I spoke of earlier, about the criticism and the evaluation of something else, consider, how can you evaluate something that you don't know anything about? And that draws me to many, many things out in our universe. And I know we're not supposed to do church and state. But as a church, as children of the Lord, and we know that there are people who are in positions of governing, they too are children of the Lord. So how can we judge what they do unless we understand that we know what we know, and we know what they know, and sometimes people can be out of step. You know, there's a thing, everybody's out of step but Charlie. So if you think of some people of being Charlies, and we are in step, then let's pray on the Charlies that perhaps might be in our legislators' positions, the Charlies of the world, in your family. It's a good place to start. And it's not saying that anybody's wrong or that we're the only ones that are right, But there's enough of us that recognize that there are some Charlies in the world that are just kind of sort of not assisting in the peace and the harm and the good and the love of the country, of the family, of friends. Is that okay to say that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to have Laverne come up and read her reading this morning, and then we'll get back.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Blessings of the day to you.
Same to you.
To create a peaceful community, making space for everyone to advocate for and expand their beliefs is essential. Loving discussion allows for all of us to shift into a higher evolution of being. All historical shifts toward human rights began with people advocating for each other. People of all races participated in the 1960 civil rights movement to abdicate Jim Crow laws in the southern United States. Today, nonprofit organizations worldwide work to rescue enslaved people and those entrapped in human trafficking. We can lead the shift if we desire to see more love in our communities. We can support marginalized people within our communities. Practicing radical forgiveness for each other allows for a profound experience of love. Forgiving does not mean forgetting. We are not expected to maintain relationships with people we do not want in our lives. Forgiveness is about letting go of resentment and trusting that the challenging experience was a divine appointment that allowed for the growth of all people involved. This week, we are invited to identify the forgiveness practice we connect with most to release any resentment we may be carrying. And that goes back to the first part, to create a peaceful community. And so it is.
So it is.
So you see, I see, as I said at the beginning, sometime anything that you do that you have to do in a repetitious format, and you get to the point, how can I change this into a knowledge beyond the knowledge that the people who are the persons that are carrying out a certain aspect of life, a certain project? How can you expand an awareness of this, that, or the other? All of these things, all of these words that have been stated, they're all the same, basically. But what it is, again, is love. What love is all of these things. So the expansion of how you interact with your family, how you interact with anyone that you work with, how you interact with your just your whole experience of life. It will make a difference because you will come from love. And if you ever eat around here, if you ever eat the special meals that special folks fix for us occasionally, if you ever put a piece of pound cake in your mouth here at our church, you know what it is that makes everything that occurs here is love. Every single breath that is taken and shared with one another in this place. Not that it just doesn't happen here, but I'm talking about usins in this church. And the people that came here yesterday who had never been, we have heard it before. As Laverne and I sat in the office and people were filing out, this is such a loving place. This is so clean. This is so special. And we are. And it's because that every single breath that is taken within this chamber that we call a building, church, it's with love. And we all bring it, but we don't keep it. We don't keep it locked up. We don't go around frowning, because a lot of times we have to laugh at ourselves. I'll tell you the truth. But it's with love that continues to have us be who we are, because we are love. So we have a call to action here as we are invited to love out loud this month. And let's just carry that on into the future. Consider providing financial contributions to organizations like Miracle Center for Spiritual Living. It doesn't say that, but Miracle Center for Spiritual Living that advocate for human rights, which we do. We advocate for the growth and the power of the individual and the love. Celebrate these organizations on social media, in your personal life. Practice radical forgiveness. And we have talked about forgiveness many times, and it starts with yourself. Forgive yourself, love yourself through it, love those that you feel may need forgiveness. And as Laverne read, we don't have to forget. Sometimes you say, oh, forget it. Some things maybe you just choose not to, or your pathway to health limits your ability to forgive, and it's okay. Or to forget, it's okay. But forgiveness is some of the best medicine that you can take. Why let it atrophy inside of you? And you know, a muscle, if you don't use it, it can wither. It can inhibit what you need to do with your body. Don't hold things inside of you that may need to be removed surgically. You think, oh, I'm over that. Some stuff shows up in the body in many ways. So radical forgiveness. If you can't forget, put it in a place that is so absolutely away from your thought pattern. Why think about it? If you didn't like it, why keep it uppermost in your mind? Forget it. As the minister in California used to say, I think I've mentioned before, get over it. He was kind of rude with the way he used to do it. I mean, he wasn't at the church too long. I'm serious. He was at a religious science church and whatever. But get over it. Make room for, we'll say, take the onion out and make room for a rose. Make room for your heart. Demonstrate what radical forgiveness looks like to others, so the concept of forgiveness can be understood and applied more often in the communities that you engage in. I was talking to someone yesterday, and it was said, how did they put it? I'm around this group of people a lot. I'm around them a lot. And sometimes they forget who I am. And they begin to go off track about their beliefs and about their way to influence, that they have more power, so to speak, than I do. And I have to, every once in a while, express a bit stronger my position, because my position, not that you disagree, but sometimes you just have to let people know who you are. And I said, that fits in with what I'm talking about tomorrow. Sometime you have to stand in your own power. Your voice has to raise a bit. Your back has to get a little stronger. Your head's got to come forward. Your eyes got to meet eye to eye. And this is who I am, and this is who I represent. And here I am in flesh and blood and full force. I'm me, and you're okay too, but you're you. Makes a difference. Makes a difference in your life, and it makes a difference in somebody else's life. So we have a song, but I don't want to play it now, so let me see. I'm going to ask, since I've kind of run out of what I feel I want to say, is there anyone who would like to share about how our teachings have assisted them in what we are talking about today? We're talking about love. It's a broad subject. Is there anyone that would like to share? I know somebody that always gets up and helps me out. You know, my sister girl, she'll come up. I know she will. I know she will. I know as a practitioner emeritus and a loving person, I know. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. Yes, and believe it or not, before I knew about Science of Mind, I used to be one of those individuals that it was my way or no way. And I don't know, that's the way I was. And there were people that I disagreed with. There were people that disagreed with me, but if they didn't come across my way, I would just leave them alone. But after moving into Science of Mind and learning and studying, I realized that we're all individuals. And if we're all individuals of spirit, that everything is all right, that is good. So we all are expressions of spirit, and because of our conditioning and what happened in the past and the way we were raised in our cultures and what have you, we have different ways of doing things. But I'm learning now that as long as it's done in love, we can live with, align ourselves with people that don't see things exactly our same way. And that's okay.
Amen.
That's okay. So
Amen.
that's what I've learned. And that's a form of love.
Yes, it is.
That's a form of love, yes.
I bless you. Thank you. Okay, Chris, did you play the song, and then we'll do treatment? Let's move our hearts, our minds, and what did you say, Laverne? Bless yourself, something close to that. Let's bless ourselves this morning as we go into the silence of our own beingness, our own truth, our own essence of joy, peace, harmony, love. For God is all there is, And individually, if you would say the words within yourself as I say them out loud, I am one with it, as it. And knowing this, we are God expressing. And as God expressing, we can just express to ourselves over and over and over again, knowing that the truth is within us. The love that God is expresses in, as, through us. Every thought, every sight, every smell, everything we hear, our five senses enable us to be who we are. And those who have, everyone has the five senses, that those who have the five senses that are dormant or silent within them, they have extreme senses that bring to them what they need within their beingness. God is everywhere present, knows all, and gives all knowledge to all. So therefore, speak your heart, speak your soul, speak your own language to the innermost God within you. Speak it out loud, write it down, put it on a tape recorder, sing it, whatever you need to do to let that Godness out. I know we give it away, we bless it as we drive down the street and we see someone with a sign in a box, I'm hungry, and you're in the wrong lane, so you just bless them, or you're in the right lane and you can't stop, or you're at a stop and you choose not to physically give. Give them a prayer. Speak your holiness, speak your oneness to God through yourself. All this wonderfulness that we are, that we have, we each have, in the degree that we have it, in the degree that we recognize it, in the degree that we know it as our truth. Be the most perfect be that you are, and allow yourself to give thanks. Without thanksgiving, there is absolutely no reason to be thinking the things we think about ourselves in particularly. We must give thanks for the graciousness of God that we are. And in this wonderfulness that we are, I bless us today. If you would keep Gilbert's wife in prayer. She is in the process of moving into a different type of living situation for her health. Keep her in prayer. Anyone else who comes to mind that you want to bring into your heart at this moment, bring them into your heart, and I know their body is just going to sing because they're going to feel it. And again, giving thanks for yesterday's outpouring of love in the activity that we had, and also for our statue raffle that is going to occur today. Just giving thanks for God, expressing as every soul, every thought, past and forward, for Miracle Center for Spiritual Living. I bless this time together. I know it is perfect. I know it has unfolded perfectly, and this will continue in our individualized lives forever and ever. And together let us say, and so it is.
Amen.
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 All right, Linda.
Thank you, Reverend June, for that treatment and your message. Let's give Reverend June a hand, please. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So let us prepare for our benediction. Let's once again, if we will, close our eyes become still, quiet, and let's just go within. Father and Mother God, I just give thanks for today's message, today's service. For Reverend June, who brought us the message, love thy neighbor. It truly has been a blessing to each and every one of us. A blessing to our spirit, our mind, and our hearts. And as we leave the service today, let us go forth knowing that with love, all things are possible. And that we should not hesitate to love out loud. And with this, if you're in agreement with me, and repeat with me, and so it is. Amen, amen, amen. This concludes our service. We have a couple of announcements, like Reverend June mentioned a few minutes ago. Today is the drawing of the raffle, which I'm sure everyone has been anticipating for the last couple of months and waiting with bated breath. Some lucky person will be walking out of here with our beautiful African figurine to display in your homes, office, family room, wherever you choose. So I'm wishing everyone good luck. To those of you who bought tickets. So here she is, waiting to be taken home with some lucky winner. Good luck to you all. And also, one other thing, the Keys of Wisdom class is on a short break, so they will be resuming on October 5th. The Keys of Wisdom class that meets normally on Thursdays, they'll be resuming October 5th. Thank you.
Can you come up comfortably?
She's waiting.
If you would hold it,
Oh.
please. What's your last name?
Bass.
Bass.
That's the last name.
Veta Bass. Hold your breath. She's going to draw. She's going to draw. She's been to Bible class for a long time every morning on Sundays, so she got the fingers, she got the blessings. I can be quiet, huh? Okay, okay. And the winner is Beverly Childress.
Winner need not be present.
Winner need not be present, and Beverly is a member who has been of service and love to us long before I got to Miracle Center. So we bless Beverly, and we'll let her know that she is the winner of the statue. And thank you, Reverend Teresa Slusher, our staff minister, who donated the statue to our church. So I guess we can do the peace song with a whole lot of joy.